Hello and welcome back to the final interview of the day for Gotham Sound's NAB 2025 coverage. Final interview of today. We'll be back tomorrow, but today is Sunday, the first day of NAB, and this man sitting next to me needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. This is Geoff from Wisycom.
Yeah.
Geoff, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
You're always a kind person, and given it's the end of the day, it is really nice to see you.
You as well.
And you know what else you have? Chairs.
You know, we do think about things like that. For chairs and tables, we said, we don't want to stand, and we want you to come have a comfortable place to sit.
It's great. It's great. So let's talk stuff. We've got this lovely rotating table, which is really fun.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of MTP61s on here, and I guess let's talk about this right here.
This was a late addition to what we're for NAB. This has been very recently. We're calling it the MTP61 XL, or extra large, which is almost a funny way to call it because the 61 is a very not large transmitter on its own. And so what we have kind of come up with this is you can use your same existing MTP61, and it just changes out the battery door. And this is something you can do at home. We'll have some instruction guides with the piece, but you put in a battery door on. And this is not the actual battery. This is just two of our current batteries glued together. But it'll be about this form factor. And you go from having about 8 hours of autonomy to up to 16.
Wow.
In a form factor that is about 7 millimeters.
That's insane. So we have
I don't know what that is in freedom units, but...
Oh, the sick burn. So wait, so just to compare, so this is the MTP60.
Yep.
So we've got the MTP61
XL.
And so it becomes about the same thickness.
It's a little thicker, but it's still very tiny.
It's still very tiny, but 16 hours.
Yeah.
That's cuckoo bananas. And it's at a full 100 milliwatt.
Yeah.
The Wisycom analog sound. I don't even know what to do with that. That's fantastic.
So it'll lead into the new batteries will work perfectly in any existing LBC charger.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a modification. We're still working on some of the details about it, but a newer version of the battery charger that will let you drop the XL in panic a little bit, but we're working on the details for that.
Nice. And so, you say you're working on it. So what does that mean in terms of time frame and in terms of pricing and all that stuff?
All of that to come soon. This kind of came out very quickly from some requests we had from some of our European customers. I'm sure a lot of our American customers had the same request of a little more autonomy. And so we're going to have that coming soon. We anticipate it to be very relatively low cost for give you a number because I don't want to give you a wrong number.
Of course.
I'm outside the choosing the numbers.
Yes, and
number side.
The first comment both.
TBD on both. I would imagine, and I would not quote me directly.
Don't imagine anything.
It should be pretty comparable to our existing. We have the Italians off screen. We can go, grill and press them before they run away.
Perfect. I do have my emergency microphone backup.
I don't know what that is.
Nobody does. It's okay. That's very exciting, very cool, and it adds another dimension to the transmitter line.
Yeah.
One other thing. Wait, where is your?
610?
Oh, there it is. So one other thing that is newsworthy, newsworthy enough that somebody tried to steal it, is the MTH610, which I think we talked about last year at NAB AES New York.
Yeah, I think we kind of just announced it at AES New York, and the anticipation was we were starting to ship soon. We've been held up in our what we call like a type acceptance or an FCC approval process. Not for what has been explained to me just this week is the company doing that process for us was acquired by another company, and it is a very difficult process of getting this done. But we are working on it diligently. Our person in the factory, her name is Nadia. She's brilliant. She runs tech support, and she's working every single day to get the FCC approval finished for this.
Got it. Okay.
So
but coming soon. I know that they're like at the shipping dock, waiting to
literally just waiting for to be handed to the shipping people.
waiting to be carried over on the gondola.
Yes.
Yes, that's how it works.
I don't know if you've ever been to Venice. There are actual UPS and FedEx and DHL gondolas. Yes, 100% that go through the canals of Venice.
I have not. I have been to Italy, but I've been to Rome, to Naples, Pompeii, and what's Milan.
It's one of the funniest things.
Yeah.
But we kept the fun going on the 61, and one of the things we've kind of recently added is, everyone knows our 61 with our 3-pin LEMO, but with our partnership and relationship with DPA, we decided to add a version of the MTP61 that has the DPA MicroLock connector. So if you're familiar with MicroDot, it's like that, but we've enhanced it and added teeth, so your connector will click into place.
That's rad. I like it.
So you can order the 61 with MicroLock or LEMO.
And in terms of what's generally in stock, because I know that you have like the ones that you stock more of, and then ones that are more special order. Is the 3-pin LEMO still going to be the standard?
The 3-pin LEMO is the standard and remains the standard. Everyone has strong opinions on connectors, but 3-pin LEMO remains a very well-held industry standard.
It's been around for a minute, for sure.
Yeah, and it's very dependent on your application of what, it's all about, for me personally, it's what makes most sense to you. When you use a lot of the DPA products, having a native MicroLock makes it a very small and sweet connector.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, well, let's move on to talk about the thing that I'm most excited about and kind of blows my mind. It is this Wisycom BFL T and R2.
Yes.
Right? So this is very exciting.
Peter is cheering behind the camera for this one.
If only we'd had this a few weeks ago. Basically. Am I right? I'm right. So here, feel free to feel free to pick it up, and we'll come back to Kyle's question in a minute. But feel free to pick it up and tell us what it do.
So a lot of our users, a lot of our friends are familiar with. We have the MFL platform, which is our RF over fiber, which is a 1RU, and it does 2 channels, send, 2 receive, and that's a really, really well put together form factor. But it doesn't really work for a lot of our film and field users, because having a 1RU rack isn't really conducive to their workflow. So we came out with the BFL1, and a lot of you are maybe familiar with our BFL1, and it's a very nice product, but it wasn't quite the replacement to an MFL, or it wasn't quite a comparable. So we took a lot of the technology and smart of the BFL1 and a lot of technology and smart of the MFL and put it into this form factor. So vertically it's about a 1RU, and then horizontally it's about a third of an RU. And so what this gives you is diversity antennas, and when you're in antenna mode, diversity receive, and then in this specific one, you can do a 2-to-1 optical multiplexer. So you have 1 strand of fiber for your diversity.
That's crazy.
And then you'll have another box that's an R on the local side that you'll come into fiber and out via coax.
But wait, so that's awesome, right? So 1 strand of fiber, 2 channels. That's crazy. APC, I assume.
Yes. Yeah.
Always APC. Be careful.
Single mode
APC. But let's talk about, there's Ethernet on there too.
Yeah. So in the way we're kind of talking about explaining is treat the RF as kind of one part of this product, and then the network as a separate. So what this does is, for the network side, it'll treat it as effectively a 4-port switch, right? So you have a blue connector for LC, which is connected to an SFP. So when you buy the BFL, and there's a whole part number we can go into later, it's basically the D1 suffix, and that'll have an SFP that you can go point to point, or point from this into your network management, whatever works you. But then that, with the device itself, plus these 2 ports, gives you a gigabit network wherever you have your other side of your BFL. So as an example for an application, if you put your BFLT out in a remote site for your antenna receive, you now have network input. So you could drop maybe a Dante speaker, or you put a little Dante network out there. So if you had to put, say, diversity coverage in video world, you could use the same thing to connect your Dante network to them. The application, what you can do with it is endless. It's just a gigabit network.
And so, we did a video with some motocross stuff, and we wound up using the Clearcom IP transceivers.
Yeah.
And that would have been more than fine. That would have worked out great. So cool. That's amazing. And then, so hold on, let me just pick this bad boy up. What else do we have? So there's the Bluetooth.
The Bluetooth antenna, so it'll
Bluetooth
show up in
antenna.
your Wisycom app.
Mhm.
You have power for it, of course.
Yep.
As well as when you put it on your network, it'll also show up in Wisycom Manager. So you can control all the settings and manage it from Manager. So if it is put in a Pelican 2,000 feet away, you can stay comfortably seated and make you like that. Make your changes.
Perfect. That's fantastic. So, so these I hear, and I'm just hearing this, are now actually in the States, ready to go.
That's what I've heard as well.
Okay, so we do need price. Do you know the pricing on them?
I know the pricing, but I don't want to say the pricing in case I'm not telling you the right price.
Okay.
I read a lot of the. I want to make sure I give the actual correct thing.
Great.
But it's pretty comparable in pricing to BFL ones.
Got it. Okay, so it's about double what a BFL one, which makes sense, and it has more stuff.
It has more stuff, but we've also added, and this is where we get a little into the nerd side of RF and fiber, and so don't tab out on us yet. So the way we kind of look at this, right? There's a lot of math. This gets into the whole thing called spurious free dynamic range, but we won't get all the way into math. But effectively, if you look at an RF cable, like a coax, you get about 120 dB of dynamic range.
Yeah.
There are a lot of systems on the market that are built from lasers for satellite communication that give you about 60. The BFL1 gives you about 90. And this, we've added some changes that it'll give you up to about 110.
Oh, wow. So it's close to...
It's basically copper at that point.
But without the loss.
Without the loss.
Repeat the question.
So for multiple, Peter's asking off camera about multiple carriers. If we, in that case, we still treat antenna mode versus IFB mode separately. And in IFB mode, you can do multiple carriers. You just get into more of the math of attenuation. So one carrier tends to be about 0 dBm, or is 0 dBm max. 2, we tend to look at about -7 dBm, and for 4, we'd look at about -18. But then comes to your amplifier side and bringing that back up to a usable level.
Okay. All right, rock on. That's very exciting and very cool. And the form factor is great especially for our people who are on set, and are doing the remote for their antennas on set and want to go through a lot of fiber.
I'm just looking at your bag. You could take the receivers out and just walk around with one of those,
It's true.
like a SMPTE cable clicked to your belt loop and just carry around a fiber loop.
I could do it. I could. It's true. So we did have one question about the MicroLock. Is that going to be the same pricing as the Limo, or is there going to be a premium for the MicroLock?
I think they were confirming it. I think it should be relatively close, if not the same. I think they were working on finalizing that.
Cool. That's cool. And since it's special order, it's probably like 4 to 6 weeks or something.
I don't know. I think we're working on having some in stock to make sure that they are available as they become more requested.
Nice. So. Okay. Perfect. Well, look, Geoff, we're going to wrap things up here, and you're going to introduce us to your DPA compatriot.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
Yeah. You said we do a walk and talk.
We'll do a walk and talk.
The segment I wanted to talk about, I didn't tell Nick this beforehand, is much like they do at the Oscars or whatever of those shows, they do a Who Are You Wearing?
Oh.
And I think we should talk about Nick's jacket and specifically what inspired Nick's jacket choice.
Sure, that's fine.
And where he got it.
Let's walk this way, and we'll walk. I guess we can walk backwards since we're talking about fashion.
We can walk backwards and talk fashion and Nick's. What this looks to be red, purple, burgundy, and gold.
Yeah, it's burgundy, gold. Glitter. You can't necessarily see it, but there's glitter all over the bag.
I don't know, Tobias, if we've gotten a close up of the glitter.
Oh yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty. So let me see.
We're
going this way.
Going this way.
So this year I decided to go thrift shopping. Yeah, I'd previously bought a lot of stuff on Amazon for various reasons. I decided it was better to upcycle. That's what they call it.
I believe it.
So I saw this at a thrift shop. My friend who helps me pick out all the outfits for NAB, approved. And then there was another person at the store that said, if it fits, you have to buy it. And it fits. And then it's basically, just adding in different accessories.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Another question from Kyle, or not question, comment says, plug on to finish the the 60 lineup? Question mark? Exclamation
I've
point?
had the plug-on conversation many times this week with our team here, and it's something that is very much in the works.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a timeline. I would not hold a high suspicion it'll be this year, but it is in the works. There's some things we have to finish with the fiber and some other projects that are kind of pressing that we have to get finished.
Yeah.
But the plug-on is we're very aware that it is in the queue.
Perfect. All right. Well, like, why don't you walk me back?
Let me take you to our friend Adi.
Hey, Adi.
And Adi will talk to you all about some of the new
pleasure.
The new joys of DPA. I don't know if you all have a table. You want to sit here too, or
no? We'll sit. Well, and why don't we stand because we need to see this,
sure.
right?
But yeah, and have fun.
Perfect. Thank you, Geoff.
Thanks, Geoff.
All right, Adi. So thank you for being here. I'm gonna reslate because we're gonna cut this video up into two. So I'm here, Gotham Sounds coverage, NAB 2025, here with Adi of DPA. Adi, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And so this is the new DPA wireless.
That's the new DPA wireless. Yes, 5 years in the making.
5 years in the making. No
Yeah,
kidding.
it's completely homebrew. So it's a Danish wireless with recently some very cool input from the Wisycom merge, and so we have some Wisycom secret sauce on the on the RF side, would make it even better.
So tell us about it. I mean, I've seen the spec sheet, and I haven't, but I haven't had a chance to do a deep dive. So what's going on in this one rack here?
Yeah, basically the big deal here is it is a full true diversity digital receiver. So 2 complete receivers that get the signal all the time, as you know, and merge the data stream on it. Which puts the receiver into a higher category, as you know, in terms of the digital receivers. Most of them end up at this range, end up being antenna switching. So this is a full diversity digital receiver. It is also a real wideband. It's basically 400 megahertz wide, which that's any place in the world that you can use 400 megahertz, but it is like 470 to 870, which makes a very interesting receiver for the US market, because with the same band, we can tune in the whole UHF, but we can also tune into the duplex gap with exactly the same band.
Yeah, up in the 650s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the other thing that is very important for us is that it's a completely digital system. So as soon as your audio hits the body pack or the mic, the first thing it sees, it's analog to digital converter. And it goes digital in all the chain until your Dante output. If you need analog, we have a version with analog outputs, but we have a version only Dante if your workflow is completely in digital.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so this one is this an analog and Dante, or just
this
Dante?
Is analog and Dante, yes. And one super important point, which makes it stands from all other wireless in the market, it has a DPA sound. And the DPA sound, there's several points in that. First, of course, with codec, was a codec designed to have the clarity that the DPA mics are known for. But also the analog front end of the body pack and the handhelds are prepared to have that dynamic range. And the analog to digital converters are matched to that. So that whole thing makes it sounds different. It sounds DPA.
Cool. Okay, and this is a 2-channel 1RU receiver, is
yes,
that right?
2-channel 1RU receiver with a headphone output. You can do all your frequency coordination from the receiver direct, like in groups and channels, like most receivers do. Or we have the DPA controller software, where you can scan and deploy all your frequencies.
And how do you connect to that? Is that USB?
Over network.
Network, okay.
Yeah, the receiver has 4 network ports, Dante primary, Dante secondary, and 2 for control. So you can daisy chain the control and have them completely separate than from your Dante network. And that's how the DPA controller access the hardware and do all your frequency coordination. Here, actually, you can see that our 2 channels are actually on the duplex gap.
Oh, I see. Yep. So yeah, you're up in the 650s right there.
Yeah.
Everything else is, there's a lot going on here at NAB.
Exactly.
And then this is a control knob, I assume, to go into
yes,
menus.
basically to go through all the menus, you can choose which receiver you're going to use. The first thing it shows is the trim, and then you have setup, channel name, radio encryption. It is all the details for the transmitter, including your network and everything.
It's a really nice screen.
It's a very nice OLED screen, yeah. And one thing that actually makes people very amused is how fast I can actually sync. So if I resync this mic, pay attention to the display, and well, if I find the right port, sorry about that.
Oh wow, that was fast.
It's super fast. So
and is that just standard infrared, or what's
standard infrared? Yes.
There we go. Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah.
Usually it takes a second.
The handheld transmitter, it's completely prepared for live sound and TV. So there's no display, unless you are exactly in line with the LED, you can see that there's an on LED.
Yeah, yeah.
The mute button is hidden. Turn on and off and the mute button. And this is very reinforced, the antenna, because it's actually the lever. And then you can have all your controls direct from here.
I see. And then this is the body pack transmitter.
Exactly. So let's get this one back. The body pack transmitter. The first thing you notice is this one is a MicroLock.
Yes. Okay.
So you can have MicroLock direct to the body pack, so it saves you some money on adapters.
Yep.
If all your workflow and all your inventory is based on Limo, not a problem. We can have a Limo version of it.
And let's see. So you keep going. Oh, it slides down.
3 levels. The first level is to access the controls. The second level, you can access the infrared port. And then the third level shotguns it up.
Oh, that's fun. That is really cute. I've not seen that.
You don't need the little fabric to pull the batteries or anything like that. You can access direct to that.
Cool. And then are there, this is definitely feels like a high quality build. It's very strong. And then it's got a mute switch and an off switch, so a 3-position.
That can be defeated by software, you know, like any other system.
And then is there any control protocol in terms of, like, if you make a change here, does it push to here, or you need to bring it back and resync it, or just change it?
You have to, there's no back channel, there's no control channel. You have to resync when you change frequencies or some other. One thing that it has that is very interesting in terms of the software is that if you have your receiver already set and you're bringing the software in, you can actually get everything from the software, from the hardware direct.
I see.
And start your coordination with that. You don't have to either zero or push what you have to this in the software to the rack.
Cool. And then this is just announced recently. But what's the time frame on it, and do you know the approximate pricing?
Yes, the time frame is, it's been shipping. We will start shipping at the end of this month in Europe. It will reach the US in the summer, most likely July, August time frame. We are expecting a very nice infocom for it, especially because it's right on that market where people use for installs and corporate. Price-wise, especially nowadays, it's a little bit complicated to speculate prices. But it should be in the ballpark of 2,000, a little, plus or minus per channel.
I see. Okay.
Depending on the configuration of the body pack, the one with the MicroLock, it's a little more affordable than the one with the Limo. And depending on the capsule that you have on the handheld, we'll have 3 flavors. The 2024, which is DPA, but entry-level DPA capsule, if there
sure.
is such thing.
Yeah.
The 2028 or the de facto.
Right. All right. Perfect. And then, I mean, obviously this is just being released, but are there plans for other transmitters, like smaller transmitters or plug-ons or anything like that?
There's always plans. You know, it's definitely not anything that we can talk at the moment. But yeah, the engineers in Denmark are always busy thinking about new, interesting things.
Very cool. Well, it's an exciting, it's one small step for microphone. No, I don't know. Something like that. There's something in there about a moon landing, but this is very, very cool. Anything else that you think we should know?
I don't think so. We are gonna be hitting the road after InfoComm, especially with RF training and you know, N-series training directly.
Right. You'll be in. Are you coming to the New York office? All right. So you'll be in the New York office on June 20th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you're interested in checking out the Wisycom, yeah, if you're interested in checking out the Wisycom.
Oh, Wisycom too, but the DPA,
yeah,
yes.
The DPA digital wireless. You know, be sure to mark your calendar for June 20th. All right. Well, look, I think that does it for us.
Perfect.
Adi, thank you so much.
Thanks
really
for coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time and for staying late on this first day of NAB. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Tobias. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, TK. Thank you, everybody in New York. We got Nate. We got Jared. Anybody, I don't know. There's just, what? Oh, and Joe. Joe's there. Hi. I haven't talked to Joe today. Hi, Joe. But thank you all so much for everybody who helped contributed. And, you know, especially thank you for watching. If you didn't watch, it would not be worth doing. So we really appreciate it and all of your comments and questions. As always, you can see this video and more at gothamsound.tv. You can follow us on pretty much any social media you can think of. You can email us at info@gothamsound.com if you have comments, questions, or want to talk about anything. And if you are considering renting or buying any of the wonderful audio equipment we've looked at today, please consider using Gotham Sound.